where people say howdy, howdy, howdy all day long. Nothing but smiling faces. I'm talking about a beautiful place. Hi, I'm Brittany Nickens for the ones who do not know me. And today, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to all of the bereaved people in Chicago who are hurting from the shooting. And I just want to say that thank you also to all of my subscribers, as well as everyone who has been listening to my videos, watching them. I want to say I hope you're having a nice day today. And as you know, I've been talking about the community. And the thing that I have been bringing awareness to is I started off with the blue collars, and I kind of sort of didn't really get to the white collar, because basically what white collar people do is they just administrative people. Kind of, I can give you an example. When I worked for the Federal Home Loan Board Bank in Little Rock, Arkansas, in 1980, I was associate administrator to the administrator. Uh, and did a lot of typing and sort of like that. But you know, I've been wanting to explain is the significance of every little job in a community and how it makes the whole place work, how it keeps the community going. A lot of people seem to be unaware of it. You know, we take for granted that when we go to the store, that all of that little grocery came there by the little good fellow people or something, and they just sort of got on the shelf, and the cans and stuff all made themselves. Not saying that I love canned food, because I do prefer fresh vegetables and fruits and nuts and grains and that sort of thing. And I'm working on it. I've not made it there completely as of yet, but I'm finding that that is what the best route to go for good health, for excellent health. And so I know some people are working on it. A shout out to all of you vegans and all of you who are starting out, who are being conscientious of your health and everything. But then that's okay, has something to do with community too, because community can raise gardens, and those gardens can interact with stores if that's something that the community chooses to do. And we have been sort of talking about Rokanda community, a beautiful community where especially the Afro-American people can reestablish themselves, because you know that we have been hurting. We've been hurting from the loss of a lot of our people. And so we want to live in a place where we can do things for ourselves and not depend on anyone, because we have always been people who have been resourceful. And what we would, what I've been talking to, I'll go back to what I've been talking about. That was just a little something extra I threw in there for people who probably don't know what my videos are about. It's about the communities and working together as a community to establish a place where we can do everything, but the thing of it is there's so many things that has to be done. For one thing, a lot of people don't realize is that the government has policies and rules, and depends on whose government. And a matter of fact, I have an example of where there's government problems going on in it's called Shore Lakes, I believe, and it's in Canada, where the people that were put on sort of an isolated island, like little island surrounded by water. They're having problems with garbage getting going into the water systems, and they don't have transportation to get a road, rather, to get where they want to go. The government wants a road, and so the government has to go through their land, and they're trying to negotiate for $10 million, and the government has agreed to give them $1 million to for a design project for the road, and not all the other stuff they need to complete that project, so that they can get out and get clear water, because their water is contaminated. They have to order water. So these are some of the kind of problems that you could run into with a community. Also, there are other systems of where you are would have to do your bathroom systems, and as I said, drinking water can be a problem if the land is not cared for properly. And because a lot of times when people want to build or establish communities, they just kind of think about, okay, let's just go and do this thing. But in the olden days, people could get away with more things because land was not ruled and controlled by policies, regulations, and so those are things that one has to consider in building a community. You have to consider that I had this little game I played once. I tried to play it, and I'm not that good with the economic games. Monopoly was pretty good. I could do that fairly well, but this game was called Sim City. You can be the mayor of the city yourself, and oh my goodness, it can be tough because I'm from Helena, Arkansas, and I understand. I believe it was I think it was 2000. It's in early 2000s when they had a riot in Arkansas. It was more shooting going on in Arkansas, and it was like I'm not going to call the mayor's name and everything, out of respect. Forgive me. But if you look it up, I'm sure you'll find all the information you want to find out about what happened in Helena concerning curfews and concerning drug wars, drug people trying to take over. So you got, I'm not in a beautiful city. You don't imagine stuff like that. You only just imagine that everybody is happy and businesses are blooming and people are understanding that they had to put tower plants in this new city, and you're just you're just expecting for the very best, nothing but good stuff. But of course, we live in the real world, and we know there are problems. As I mentioned when I first started, there's trouble going on right now in Chicago, and we have to pray for that city. That and I know prayer seems such a menial thing to do. When it seems so little when people are hurting, but it really does have powerful effects. I know. Trust me, I know. Okay? So we all may not worship the same way. We may not all believe in the same thing, but prayer is wonderful and meditation is super good. So, and that is when you can figure out how to meditate. Now, that's one we're not used to. We've been kind of systematically trained to do things that may not be quite as beneficial to us as we would like. But as I said, I want to get back to the community because, as I told you once before in one of my other videos, I can go off on all those roads and avenues and try to get back before our time will say. But anyways, I want everyone, especially in the African American community, to be mindful of our community duties because it's like sometimes when I was teaching school, sometimes you get children at home that used to someone picking up behind them, and so they don't really know how to straighten things out for themselves. To what I'm saying, clean up behind themselves and be mindful of others that's in in their little setting. Without we can call it community because we are talking about community. I'm talking about a classroom though, and each little desk is a community sort of. That's what I always told my children, and anyway, so there's another situation that I like to remind you of about the community. That is that there was once some people who had inherited a beautiful house. Oh, I thought it was so beautiful. Oh my goodness, I like that house. And I don't think they were quite aware of the duties of keeping a house. See, it starts with the small things, and that's why my videos may seem trivial and insignificant, but it's so important for us to be mindful of what it takes to keep a house, because that's why you see so many houses now falling apart and nothing is being done. And I had a vision about this years ago before it started happening. And in the vision, I thought, well, it was actually a dream. And I thought, oh no, this is not a good dream. Buildings are not being repaired, and lots are not being mowed. Mowed. The grass is not being mowed. Lawn is not being mowed. And I thought, oh, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're people. We work together, don't we? Don't we know how to just uh, budget a housekeeping? And there have been houses where, well, as I was saying about the one that I was talking about, that house, and they didn't keep the grass. The grass grew taller than me, and I won't say how tall I am, but it grew about 6 feet. Not me, no. I'm not six. No. But the grass grew that tall, very, very tall. And it grew like a jungle. I mean, it's okay if you like a jungle, if you want a jungle, if that's what desire. But then even that, it has to have something, probably some consideration or something done to it. Anyways, I don't want to prolong the time today, but I had been telling some people that I were going to talk and bring some awareness to the community. So, one of the other things that has been brought to my attention is that each person who has skills has a skill. Say for instance, uh, electrician. That's why I started out with the little individual giving appreciation to the certain workers, the blue collar workers, because the blue collar workers seems to do way more work than some people, but we all work hard, in one area or another, because just keeping a house is couldn't be great work. And so what I'm saying is this, that we start with small things, like if we can be aware of the things that are going on in our community, that trucks have to travel, people drive trucks, they bring grocery, they bring other items. That's a part of the community. But basic, when you're starting a community, and then the little Sims game that I was telling you about that I tried to play, and I was really good at it because I never really learned all the rules. That you have to have rules because in the game, if you became the mayor and you decide you want to build a little city, you have to know how many people is going to be in that little city, and then every time you build it, you had to have electrical tower building, and then after they do you get a little electric tower building. It was always figuring out where the budget was coming from and how much money you could get from the people and what was the people doing. So, if you didn't have the little industries or the little factories, cities don't just develop themselves. light and water doesn't just, you might get catch water from rainwater and everything. As I know, we all seem to think, well, that water is free, that comes from the creator. Why are we paying for water? Land is free, that comes from the creator. Why are we paying for land? But there has to be order in um, in developing communities. There has to be an order in, even with land, because things are constantly happening. You've seen so many times when roads have failed in and cars have failed down through the abyss wherever they go. We don't know how far some of them go, and we don't know. So those things have to be surveyed and calculated and understood. So you have your technicians in those areas of land surveying, and you have engineers and land building and setting. So there's so many facets of building and having a community. So I'm saying, and then you got another situation that can arise, and that is that you can try to have someone, just say for instance, I had a concrete construction business before, and in that business we did concrete finishing. And so, like there's some lands that uneven and all that surveying of the getting that. Oh, that is the weirdest thing. I won't even go there. What end is high and which end was low, because sometimes that end looked really high and it was the low end. You understand? And so you had to have people who knew their skills, knew this math, knew this technology, and knew what to do and how to get it right. Because hiring people who decide they want to sleep and get high all day is not what we want. So it's the honor system is tremendous. We are expected to be honorable in our work habits and what we give. That's just the basics. That's the minimal. Do the best that you can do whenever you are hired or employed a place, And so like I said, I don't want to make this video real long. And I just want to say a shout out to Michelle and Curry. I know who you are. I know you're the first to subscribe. So I want to say thank you. You know who you are. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you. Anybody who takes the time to look, you are appreciated. And those who don't, you still appreciate it, because you know what? You're a part of this great big world too. And so I'm going to get ready to close this out. And I want everyone to have a great day. And like I say, if you don't know who I am, I'm Birdine Nickens. And I've been telling everyone you can call me Bernie, So I'm going to wish everyone a happy day until the next time. And today is Wednesday. They call it Hump Day. And so I want you to be blessed too. Okay? And it's a beautiful place that we're talking about. A beautiful place. A beautiful place. A beautiful place. And you can make it happen as well as I. Thank you. Thank you for listening. You've been with Birdine. Have a blessed day. Till next time. Goodbye.